Welcome to Inform TV. This 12th day of February 2013. Just got back from the mall here in Alexandria. Is it Vikings Plaza Mall or something like that? And they had a farm show going on there. Talked to a lot of nice people. Had some of our listeners up in the Little Falls, Long Prairie area that I kind of thought were out of the range of Selective Tower, but yeah, they listen to it, their neighbors listen to it, and give us more. We want some local news and weather back and all that kind of stuff. So I had a good visit out there, talked to a number of fine businesses that I think you'll enjoy. The funny part is always that there's still a group of businesses that are scared to death of us or whatever. Even the local John Deere dealer I thought would talk to us about what people are buying, but they want nothing to do with me, and that's unfortunate because we're just trying to see that you guys are informed of what's going on in the various segments of the economy in outstate Minnesota, and to get some feedback of what, in this case, farmers are doing or small businesses are doing. That's the purpose of the press, and we're going to try to do more. And any people that if you were at the mall, and encourage them to advertise with Inform TV. I cannot continue to do this, people, with the cable outlets rolling their nose up on me, but at the same point in time, we're soon going to start streaming our programming to one of the cable providers in southern Minnesota that's got some pretty good reach and access, so we might have to have you do a little lobbying for us there as well. That's back in old radio country where I used to do a program. I think you probably seen me hesitate at time. I want to say welcome to Ag Analysis, because we did that for years in radio stations in farm country across southern Minnesota, even in Morris here, Montevideo, those type of things. And but had some good interviews with some of the people. I hope you enjoy it. Alan Repke reporting here in the mall in Alexandria today. We've got the farm show going on. We're going to be talking to some of these people, and as you can see as we pan down, a lot of booths here, right in the main part of the mall here in Alexandria this afternoon. Remember, this holiday season, whenever you get to Alexandria, make sure you stop in at the local Cenex store that has gas, tires, LP, and a great convenience store.
All steaks are not created equal. Other markets inject their beef with up to 11% added solutions for the same price. Don't pay for beef that's juiced. Pete's County Market. Real beef, always.
Pete's County Market.
At Pete's County Market, all of our smoked meats start right here in our own smokehouse. So come check out the large variety of smokehouse meats at Pete's County Market.
Fresher, easier, friendlier. Pete's County Market.
Introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing in Alexandria this afternoon.
Well, my name is Sean Stalin with Prairie Lakes Co-op, and we have a booth set up here for the farm show, just to inform our customers about all the different aspects of agriculture and energy that we can provide for them.
And give us a little background on your cooperative. That's local, right?
It is. It's a local co-op. We have 8 locations, so we're from everywhere from Starbuck all the way up to Park Rapids.
Okay, and what else locally? You're in Starbuck. Can you give us your
Starbuck,
location?
Yeah, Starbuck, Glenwood, Lowry, Cyrus, Elrosa, Hoffman, Long Prairie, and Park Rapids.
Okay, as far as the cooperative, what's the main grain handling or fertilizer or fuel? What's your main focus?
Our main is our agronomy and our grain.
Okay.
And we also do energy, so we serve the area with propane and fuel.
Do you guys have an ethanol plant at all?
We don't. We
Okay.
don't own an ethanol plant.
When do you have filling stations then, you said?
We don't. We don't have any filling stations. We used to have a few of the stores around, but they're no longer with us.
What's the main focus of your stockholders going into spring? What's the talk at your various outlets?
You know, it's probably hoping for some precipitation.
Okay. They did come off a very good crop though in 2012.
They did, yes, yep. The crops in our area were very good depending upon the soil you were on. You get up in the sandy soils up north a little bit, the crops went down. But for the most part, around here, they were very good.
What about energy when it comes to ethanol? Are the plants in Minnesota, are they shutting down with this higher price of corn, or as corn comes down now, are they still doing full production in Minnesota? Any thoughts?
You know, the ethanol production will keep going. And I think with the mandates that the state has put on us for ethanol and fuel, that's going to be a mainstay for these ethanol plants. They're still going to keep producing the ethanol. They're still buying corn. And it's gone down. Some ethanol plants that came and others have started back up again. So it depends upon how they can contract out their corn, how they can get it in.
So basically you're saying the plants in Minnesota are still running pretty much at full capacity. There's a number of closed nationwide, or temporary at least.
There are. The ethanol usage, you know, they're still trying to get it to where they can increase the ethanol into the vehicles versus right now Minnesota's at 10% mandated ethanol in their gasolines. They'll keep producing that, and if they change to 15%, which is I think where they probably be heading is to an E15, that'll even produce more. I think that'll increase.
Well, thanks for talking to Farm TV. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Doug Hepperl from Structural Buildings. Just give a little insight on the market today. The ag market, as most of you know, is real strong and a real powerful part of our business. A lot of large shops and cold storage buildings for the farmers, and with that, kind of the trickle down is some of the commercial manufacturing is actually picking up a little bit, and some of the smaller buildings, the toy sheds that go in people's backyards, that business is also very good.
Sir, where's your business located? How big an area do you cover?
Well, our corporate office is in Becker, Minnesota, near St. Cloud, but we have salesmen that run the whole state of Minnesota. Minnesota, the Dakotas, go down into Iowa, and then also into Wisconsin. So we've built all over the state and all over the 5-state area this year.
Have you been building all winter, or you're just going to start building now as come spring?
No, we have been building all winter. This year was amazing. By the time the new year started, we had up to 30 buildings on the books that we have not yet started.
Wonderful.
So it's been really good this year.
As far as the new tax laws, that must help you too some, right?
The tax laws in the past, it did for the depreciations. I'm not familiar with what.
Yeah, they renewed them for the most part.
They did renew.
Yep.
Okay, yep. So that will be an advantage for the ag business and also trickle down to us.
What kind of turnout are you getting here today in Alexandria?
Today is busy. There's quite a few people walking around. This is a very nice show. We've been here before I even started. I've been working with structural buildings for 17 years. We've been at this show from pretty much the beginning. So very good show to be at.
Okay, we appreciate you talking to Inform TV.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Steve Otto with Bremer Bank in Brandon, Minnesota. As far as the ag economy, we had a good 2012 crop year. A lot of farmers are carrying crops over. Prices are still good. As far as rates and everything, rates are really good for ag real estate purchases and everything else, equipment purchases. We have some really competitive rates that are out there.
What kind of loan rates for operating loans or land loans? What kind of interest rates are people paying right now in the farm community?
Depends on the situation. Like I said, they are competitive. We can see them as low in the low 3s or end up from there.
So they were buying that 80 acres next door and putting a loan on it for a 30-year loan, or what kind of rate would they get?
We have different financing options. We can go 3-year, 5-year balloons, 7-year balloons. We can term them out for short as 10 years. If we want to do 20 years, 25 years, we have a whole bunch of different financing options. So depending on what financing option fits best for the customer, dictates what rate would be out there. So.
Do you, as Bremer Bankers, do you guys sell crop insurance, or?
Yes, we do. We have a whole line of services from crop insurance, personal line insurance, health insurance, business line insurance. So on the investment side, we have trust, we have the 401k plans, we got the personal investments, and then we have the traditional banking products with your checking accounts, savings accounts, you got the debit cards, credit cards, basically everything you need.
Obviously, I farmed for 30 years, and this time of the year you're doing the new financial statements. What kind of increase in net worth did you find over year? That kind of thing.
There again, I think it's each personal situation. So how many acres they farmed, or what kind of financial position they were in. So each of that varies.
But balance sheets in general are very strong in our farm community.
Balance sheets are looking good. Yep, we have a lot of crops in the bins that were held over into 2013. So that's giving the farmers a good boost for this year already. So.
What are you seeing in crop mix when they're coming in? Are they going heavy corn or traditional rotation? What are you seeing that way?
A lot of the traditional rotation, but everybody seems to be leaning towards that corn crop just because of the price. So that was last year. This year we'll have to see, wait and see. So.
Okay, thanks for talking to Inform TV.
Thank you.
A stunning reflection of one's beauty and spirit, the Grace of Antwerp diamond is custom cut and polished by master craftsmen in the diamond center of the world. The Grace of Antwerp, a work of art, available exclusively at Caro Jewelers, Alexandria.
Wales Hearing Center is proud to be part of the Starkey Hearing Alliance, and I hope you enjoy these videos explaining all the benefits of the latest developments of Starkey hearing aids, especially the mobile surflink.
I'm Aaron from Tyne Well Company. We are based out of Spicer, Clara City. We own a company out of St. Cloud, and we're in Monticello. Been doing a lot of irrigation with the dry weather. A lot of lost crops this last year. Really has stemmed the irrigation business. People are really worried about this next year here also because we just haven't had the precipitation to recharge the ground. We're fortunate to be in an area where we have a lot of water. I do know of some areas in South Dakota where they are putting moratoriums on certain aquifers. A lot of guys are getting scared that they're not going to get their wells in, but we're in an area where we're graced with a lot of water. But we still have to protect it, and we will need at some point, not too far down the road, to really get some precipitation to recharge the ground. So.
With the warm, hot weather last year, were any of the aquifers in Minnesota pulled down to any level, or like you said, it was mainly in South Dakota where the problem was?
You know, when you're not getting the recharge, yes, they are getting pulled down some. You know, once in a while we'll run into well interference with, say, domestic wells where you might have some irrigation wells that are pumping a lot, and we end up having to lower the pumps in the domestic wells. So, yeah, I mean, the groundwater is down a bit, but like I said, we have an abundance of water around this region, so we're pretty lucky about it.
As far as irrigation wells this winter or this coming spring, you'll see a lot of new ones, a bigger area where people are irrigating than compared to the past?
Last year was a pretty heavy year for doing irrigation wells. I guess in normal seasons it's not so much an issue. When they started putting the irrigation wells in back in the 70s, a lot of the places that needed the wells already have them. But with good crop prices and the dry weather, guys are putting in wells where they probably wouldn't have been in before. Instead of just real dry land, they're putting it in fair land.
And when we talk an irrigation well, what kind of size casing? You drilling down 12-inch casing, or what?
Typically, most of them are going to be 12-inch diameter. Sometimes you can get up to 16-inch diameter. Just kind of depends. But
in the Alexandria Lakes area, what type of depth do you have to go to find the water for irrigation?
I would say on the south side of Alexandria here along the interstate, you're probably looking in that 150-foot range.
And how many gallons per minute can you draw in a 12-inch well for a 160-acre circle?
Probably, I would say probably depending on how it's nozzled and your pressures, probably in that 900 gallons a minute range.
And how long does it take to put an acre inch on then?
I would have to ask the irrigation guy that, because they're the ones, once we get the well put in and they hook onto our lines, that's...
But they're usually looking for capacity of at least what?
Well, volume-wise, most of them, I would say, are going to be in that 800-900 gallon a minute range.
Okay, and when it comes to commercial or residential wells, you're drilling what, 5-inch casings?
5-inch diameter casings, yep.
Okay.
Typically, we're doing that because in a 4-inch well, if the pumps can get stuck in there in different ways, and by putting a 5 in, you eliminate most of those situations. So it's a little insurance policy built in.
And then, can you give us a little background? The state does an interesting thing. Every time you guys drill a well, you report to the state and what you're finding and that type of thing, don't you?
Yeah, we have to, by law, submit a drill log to the state. It'll have the lithology on there, which is basically the layers of geology. It'll have the type of screen, how many feet of screen. It'll have the static water level, which is the water level in the well when nothing's pumping. And then it has your pumping level, how many gallons a minute the well puts out. And then afterwards we have to test the water for coliform bacteria, nitrates, and arsenic. And furnish the customer with those, and we have to then submit the copy of that to the state of Minnesota.
Any new issues popping up statewide? Not putting pressure on your company, but as far as when they test wells, nothing new showing up, no new high levels of anything?
Not really. I mean, we didn't start testing so much for the arsenic till about 5 years ago, and the arsenic is not an uncommon occurrence in the ground, and it really kind of scares people, actually. There's different levels of it, but typically it can be removed from your drinking water through reverse osmosis. So it's not the end of the world, but we are required to test for it. And like I said, you hear arsenic and consumer puts a new well in, they got arsenic in the well, and of course they're a little concerned most of the time, but we're happy to work with them to educate them on what they can do about it.
Okay, thanks for talking to Inform TV.
You're welcome.
I'm Bill Pashy. I'm with AgTech Drainage out of Sauk Center, Minnesota, and we do farm drainage. And the reason we do that is to take excess moisture out of the ground, so the roots can penetrate down into the ground and capture that moisture that's down deeper. And yes, we have a drought going on last year, but still with a better root system, farmers are telling us that was their best crop still on tile ground.
Exactly. How deep do you normally run the lines, and what size tile are you putting in nowadays?
Well, for seep tiles we run 4-inch, and we run them between 3.5 and 4 feet deep.
And how far apart in most of the land you're draining?
Most of the land is on 60 foot, but it would depend upon the type of soil. We may go wider and we may go narrower. If you get salts and stuff, then we'll pull them in closer to try to pull the salts down through the tile system.
With good farm prices and some favorable tax laws, you guys in the drainage business been extremely busy the last few years, right?
We have been, yes.
Are you pretty well booked up heavy for the coming year as well then, sir?
The spring is booked, and we're getting pretty well booked up through summer and fall right now.
As far as most of what you do, you have a track item that pulls it into the ground. How big a pipe can you pull into the ground with your cat without going to an excavator?
15-inch smooth wall is the biggest that we can install with our machines.
Okay. Anything else you want your customers or farmers or landowners in the area to know?
Well, just that drainage pays, and without drainage you can't get top production.
Thanks for talking to Inform TV.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Scott Maddox with Westcon Co-op out of Holloway, Minnesota. We have several regional locations across central Minnesota and eastern South Dakota. Here at the farm show today, Looking at 2013, I would say our corn and soybean acres are going to be about the same as last year, leaning heavily towards corn. Again, corn is king. With soybean prices dropping, it's going to make it more substantial to stay with corn with rising input costs and whatnot.
What are most of your farmers, what are they talking for input costs to put a crop of corn in today or a crop of soybeans?
Depending on land rent and insurance, it's going to be anywhere from $500 to $600 an acre with all inputs included.
Now your main location there at Holloway, you guys have a huge grain terminal there, right?
Right, yeah. Not exactly sure on how many bushels of storage. It's upwards of 10 to 15 million bushels of storage that we have there in Holloway. As our main hub, we also have a big elevator out in South Dakota, Twin Brooks, and then one in Ortonville and in Appleton as well.
What about corn? The corn ending inventory is going to be tight. Same with soybeans. Are your bins pretty empty out there, or there's still got a lot of grain on hand?
I'm not quite sure on that. I know there's trains constantly going out. I know our grain marketers, they sell it about as fast as we get it in, just because of the volatility of the market.
And you load out mainly 100-car units or shuttles, or
110-car unit trains is primarily it.
Okay.
Our wheat rail in Appleton will do smaller car settings, 10, 15, 20 cars that go to Minneapolis Board of Trade.
What about the ethanol industry in Minnesota and the Dakotas? Does that go out by truck, or are you railing that as well?
Actually, a lot of our corn right now, as far as I'm aware of, is going south down into that ethanol market, Illinois, Indiana, the places that were drought-stricken a little heavier this year. But primarily, I'd say the highest percentage of our grain goes out to the West Coast to go on barges.
And what rail line are you on? Are you on more than one out there?
We're on two. We're on BN. Burlington Northern is our main one, but then we are also on the TC&W rail that goes to Minneapolis.
Okay, and you ship a fair amount on both of them then, or mainly the BN?
Mainly BN. I'd say 90 to 95% of ours goes out on BN.
Okay, thanks for talking to Inform TV.
You bet.
Remember, this holiday season, whenever you get to Alexandria, make sure you stop in at the local Cenex store that has gas, tires, LP, and a great convenience store.
Wales Hearing Center is proud to be part of the Starkey Hearing Alliance, and I hope you enjoy these videos explaining all the benefits of the latest developments of Starkey hearing aids, especially the mobile SurfLink.
Hi, I'm Judy from Peets County Market Floral. Come on in and see a variety of our green plants, our blooming plants, and our long stem roses. For all your floral needs, contact me, Judy at PeetsCountyMarket.com.
Peets County Market.
Hi, Mike Neese, Produce Manager here at Peets County Market. We have just expanded our fresh organic fruits and vegetables. As you can see behind me here, we have many different items to choose from. Come check us out next time you're in the store.
Peets County Market.
Fat Daddy's Barn Grill offers luncheon specials along with a complete soup and salad bar. Watch your favorite game on the biggest screens in town. The Garden Center features bowling, Bergie's Pro Shop, and a huge arcade. Book your next event in the Broadway Ballroom. The Garden Center, next to the Hampton Inn and Suites, Alexandria.
Hi, my name is Jim Coquette, and I'm an account manager for DuPont Pioneer. I live here in Alexandria, and I work in the west central Minnesota area, so everything from Wheaton up to Fergus Falls and up to the Park Rapids, Wadena area. And I guess what's new with DuPont and Pioneer is we have a nice supply of all of our lead products, both in corn and soybeans, so we're real happy about that. We understand that probably might not be the case throughout the rest of the industry, so we feel fortunate about that. Looking forward to spring and spring planting.
What kind of mix of crops do you see your customers? Are they staying heavy corn, or are they backing down to more of a corn-soybean rotation, anything that way?
So my territory is predominantly a corn and soybean rotation with some livestock in the east. Of course, we see some hay in that rotation, and I would certainly say that the market favors corn, and we see a incentive or a desire by growers to plant more more corn, and we're seeing more corn on corn practice as well.
Can you give us a little idea what the average farmer spends per acre on seed for corn and soybeans nowadays, roughly?
Well, firstly on corn, and it's of course going to vary depending on their yield potential, their planting population, and other factors. Another driver of that would be the technology that they purchase, whether they're buying a conventional type product or if they're buying something with traits to either protect for rootworm and or corn borer. But I would say if you put a number between $70 and $100 per acre for seed cost on corn, it would get you pretty close. Soybeans, you're probably in that $40 to $45 an acre for seed cost.
Most of the soybeans handled in bulk today, the seed that you sell, or is it still a lot of bags or boxes? What are you moving the seed out to the farmers in today?
Well, we at DuPont Pioneer still presented in all options. They can buy it in 50-pound bags or 1-unit bags, and we also would sell it in bulk. Certainly as growers increase in size and their equipment capabilities, we see them taking more seed in bulk and less in bags just because of the challenges and the workload with handling bags.
Now you talked about these stacked hybrids with many different traits. Combination of two in a question. Does DuPont Pioneer have any new insecticides or herbicides out, or is it still Roundup the main weed control? And are the genetics taking care of the rootworm and corn borer pretty much, or what's happening that way?
So firstly on the herbicide side of it, we don't see a lot of new technology coming in form of traits for corn and soybeans. I think in a year or two you're going to see some of that, and DuPont Pioneer is working on some specific products, and I know our competitors as well, but still mostly Roundup in terms of herbicide tolerance in corn, soybeans, sugar beets, and in alfalfa. On insect traits, that's mostly in corn, and we would have below ground protection for corn rootworm, and then above ground protection for corn borer. And now what you're seeing is when you mention stack traits, in addition to a single mode of action for corn rootworm, we're starting to see pairings where there'd be a couple of modes of action for corn rootworm, and then a couple of different proteins expressed above ground for corn borer protection.
The traits that actually the bug or the worm, as far as eating into the corn, that kills the worm, is that adequate today for people that are corn on corn? Are they using a combination of that and some insecticide, or what are you finding that way?
Well, there's certainly been some documented. I don't know if they've documented resistance to a couple of the traits out there for corn rootworm in particular. So we're starting to see that. That's one of the reasons why we're starting to put multiple modes of action into that as a trait in seed corn to give additional protection. But then we're also seeing in high pressure areas where they're coupling it with an insecticide treatment in the row, or T-banded, or maybe some additional seed treatment.
So in general, for 13, say if a farmer had corn on corn for a few years, will he be relying on the technology of DuPont and Pioneer for rootworm control and corn borer control, or will he be doing some insecticide for both?
So speaking of our traits, we work with Herculex, and Herculex is still a very effective, efficacious protein expressed for corn rootworm control. So we would not be making the recommendation to use any additional insecticide. Also, depending on where you're at, if you're in west central Minnesota, we typically don't see that real heavy rootworm pressure, where we're going to see a lot of that practiced here in the next year or so. Down the road, that certainly could change, but right now our trait is doing a real adequate job protecting for corn rootworm.
What about corn borer above ground, or that type of thing, or stock borer? Do you have the traits that are handling that, or using some insecticide later in the season for that problem above ground?
So DuPont Pioneer, we're stacking Herculex 1 with Yield Guard corn borer, and there has been no issues with its efficacy to control corn borer. And not only that, but I think with all of the trait corn that we've planted over the last several years, we just don't see a lot of corn bore pressure, at least at present. Of course, that could certainly change with different weather patterns and as time goes on.
What about soybeans as far as cyst nematodes and white mold, that type of thing? How are you handling that for our growers today?
So cyst nematode, we have some very nice mix of varieties, non-cyst and cyst varieties. Pioneer is one of the few companies that has success with the Peking resistance for cyst nematode. So we've had real good success in a couple of our soybeans in that regard. As far as white mold, general selection, there isn't a trait per se to control white mold completely in soybeans. And then, in addition to native traits and their ratings for white mold resistance, we work with our customers on management practices, whether it's fungicide application, row spacing, plant population, and so forth, to help manage white mold.
Any particular new test products you guys are putting out this year in the Alexandria Lakes area for our farmers?
In terms of new products, we're real excited. We have 6 or 8 brand new corn hybrids, genetic platforms that we're going to be testing, and about the same number new soybean genetic platforms that we're going to be looking at and advancing, and will produce in volume for 2014.
Wonderful. Thanks for talking to Inform TV.
You bet.
Hi, I'm Judy from Peets County Market Floral. Come on in and see a variety of our green plants, our bloomy plants, and our long stem roses. For all your floral needs, contact me, Judy at PeetsCountyMarket.com.
Peets County Market.
Hi, Mike Neese, Produce Manager here at Peets County Market. We've just expanded our fresh organic fruits and vegetables. As you can see behind me here, we have many different items to choose from. Come check us out next time you're in the store.
Peets County Market.
A stunning reflection of one's beauty and spirit, the Grace of Antwerp diamond is custom cut and polished by master craftsmen in the diamond center of the world. The Grace of Antwerp, a work of art, available exclusively at Caro Jewelers, Alexandria.
Wales Hearing Center is proud to be part of the Starkey Hearing Alliance, and I hope you enjoy these videos explaining all the benefits of the latest developments of Starkey hearing aids, especially the mobile SurfLink.
Hi, my name is Janet McGrath, and I'm the grain buyer at Central Minnesota Ethanol Co-op in Little Falls, Minnesota, in central Minnesota. Our plant has been operational since March of 1999. We are a 21 million gallon a year plant. We produce ethanol. The byproduct distiller's grain in dry form and wet form. Over the last few years, we introduced corn oil, which is used to make biodiesel. We buy 7.5 million bushels of corn a year, number 2 yellow corn. We receive corn Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 5. Our industry has struggled recently in the last few years with the high price of corn and the low price of ethanol. The margins, the crush margins in an ethanol plant are determined by the corn price, the ethanol price, and natural gas, as well as the net load of the plant. The plants have basically had a lower ethanol price, and we've been working very hard to get the word out that ethanol is a viable alternative to fossil fuels. And
what about your plant as far as how many gallons are you getting right now out of a bushel of corn?
we get about 2.8 gallons of ethanol per bushel of corn.
And at one time, your plant was doing some of your power generation was with waste wood products and that type of thing, wasn't it? Are you still doing that?
No, we're not. At the time when we were doing that, natural gas was $10, $12 a decatherm, and we investigated doing that. We did work towards that. We had issues with that, and natural gas has come down since then, so we're using natural gas.
Now there was a rumor that you guys were either going to shut down or did. What's the truth of that, ma'am?
Well, back in August, the plant did shut down for in July. For about 6 weeks, we had a small. We didn't have much corn in our area, so that being said, we need corn to operate the plant. So we had to wait pretty much till harvest came, and at that time we decided that we would work on our tanks and do some maintenance work in the city of Little Falls. We have a pretreatment plant for water to the north of the plant, and the city decided that they would do major repairs over there, so we used our downtime to get a lot of projects done. But we've been up and operating since the beginning of September.
What percentage of full capacity are you operating at right now?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
What do you hear other ethanol plants in Minnesota? Anything that way as how any closing down because of the corn price ratios? And
I believe that there's been a couple of plants that have closed down. There's some bigger plants across the nation that have just slowed down with the crush margin. Although over the last few weeks the corn price has come down a little bit and the ethanol price has gotten a little stronger because of, I would say, the shutdown. There's not as much ethanol being produced on a week-to-week basis.
now you're one of the smaller plants in Minnesota. Do you tend to truck your ethanol out, and where does most of your ethanol go?
Most of our ethanol, all of our ethanol is trucked out. Most of it goes to Duluth, Esto, over here in Alexandria, to the pipeline, and we don't do any rail at all.
Okay. And any plans in the future of any changes, or what are you doing that way?
Right now, we're not making too many changes at all. Like I said, we had introduced corn oil that we sell for biofuels. We've got some corn oil here.
Okay. How many people do you employ at your factory, ma'am?
There are 30 full-time employees at the plant. We've got a lab, a full lab, and our CEO, Dana Person, he's been our CEO for a year.
What are you presently buying corn at per bushel? Can you tell our listeners that?
Sure. The price of corn right now has been down. It's down a little bit today. We're close to the 666 range right now.
Okay.
And it's about 670 for March to April.
Are you contracting any new crop, and what level are you buying that at?
We're not contracting too much new crop. We are doing some, but there's a dollar inverse market right now between old crop and new crop.
In other words, new crop's about $1 cheaper than the present value.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to Informed TV. We appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Fat Daddy's Barn Grill offers luncheon specials along with a complete soup and salad bar. Watch your favorite game on the biggest screens in town. The Garden Center features bowling, Bergie's Pro Shop, and a huge arcade. Book your next event in the Broadway Ballroom. The Garden Center, next to the Hampton Inn and Suites, Alexandria. All steaks are not created equal. Other markets inject their beef with up to 11% added solutions for the same price. Don't pay for beef that's juiced. Pete's County Market. Real beef, always.
Pete's County Market.
At Pete's County Market, all of our smoked meats start right here in our own smokehouse. So come check out the large variety of smokehouse meats at Pete's County Market.
Fresher, easier, friendlier. Pete's County Market.
Fat Daddy's Barn Grill offers luncheon specials along with a complete soup and salad bar. Watch your favorite game on the biggest screens in town. The Garden Center features bowling, Bergie's Pro Shop, and a huge arcade. Book your next event in the Broadway Ballroom. The Garden Center, next to the Hampton Inn and Suites, Alexandria. A stunning reflection of one's beauty and spirit, the Grace of Antwerp diamond is custom cut and polished by master craftsmen in the diamond center of the world. The Grace of Antwerp, a work of art, available exclusively at Caro Jewelers, Alexandria.
I'm Jessica Klimek.
Alan Klimek.
And we're with the Douglas County American Dairy Association.
And you farm here right here in Alexandria?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have about 85 cows, and we do that together. And his dad still comes out and helps a little bit too here. And
What are you finding as far as dairy prices for our farmers in Alexandria Lakes area? What kind of price per hundred are you getting for milk right now?
Right now, milk I would say is going down.
And what range are you at right now, price-wise?
it's about
Well, it varies from breed to breed. I don't know. Futures are about 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
And where's most of the milk that's produced in Douglas County? Where does it go nowadays?
all of ours goes for cheese, right? Yep.
Okay. And where's the cheese supplier that the bulk milk goes to then?
We're selling milk to Nelson Creamery, and they sell it to the First District.
Okay, Nelson and the First District, that goes down to Litchfield then, right?
Yep.
So most probably the milk that goes for cheese here. Does that tend to be the farmers that belong to the Nelson Co-op? Most of their product goes down to Litchfield then for either cheese or they also sell grade A milk there, I think, as well, don't they? I've talked to the guys there, but anything else as far as your farming operation this year you plan on doing, or you plan any expansion or on your dairy herd or farming operation this year?
No, not really.
Same old, and do you have a good year, or were you in some of the dry area yourself? Do you have a good crop? And
It was a pretty good crop. The hay was a little iffy.
Better than what we expected, I
But
guess.
yeah.
do you also feed out your steers and that type of thing, or strictly milk cows? And you have a stanchion barn then, or tie stall? What about in Douglas County? Do we have any of the super dairies in Douglas County or not?
There's a few, a couple hundred cows, but not.
Nothing huge.
Okay, thanks for talking to Inform TV.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Inform TV. I'm Alan Repke. Remember, this holiday season, whenever you get to Alexandria, make sure you stop in at the local Cenex store that has gas, tires, LP, and a great convenience store.
Fat Daddy's Barn Grill offers luncheon specials along with a complete soup and salad bar. Watch your favorite game on the biggest screens in town. The Garden Center features bowling, Bergie's Pro Shop, and a huge arcade. Book your next event in the Broadway Ballroom. The Garden Center, next to the Hampton Inn and Suites, Alexandria.